Innovative organizations, when confronted by change and the necessity to go forward and seize opportunity, make bold leaps. They make big decisions. They make risky decisions. They challenge themselves to do things differently every single day. There are no barriers to change. There's only our resistance to change. And that's why we need to think about innovation. That's why we need to think about doing things differently. That's why we have to confront the stop signs that we put in front of ourselves that can prevent us from achieving greatness. We're here today, and the world is going over there tomorrow really fast. And we have to change in order to keep up with high velocity change in the economy. How do we scale faster? How do we act faster? How do we innovate faster when faster is the new fast? When we are in the midst of a high velocity economy, how do we do things differently? I think some of us, we develop an organizational sclerosis, that clogs up our ability to confront and deal with change. In every single organization in the world, there are people who wake up in the morning and the very first thought that comes to their mind when they wake up is, what am I going to do today to kill great ideas? What's the worst phrase we use in the world of business almost every single day? Somebody has a great idea and somebody at a meeting comes back and says, well, no, you can't do that because we've always done it this way. Realize that the world around you is changing faster than ever before. And you can look at it with fear, or you can look at it as an opportunity. We have to take risks in order to get ahead.
Hey, whoa, good morning. We're live. Life was way easier when I was going to walk out on stage in Las Vegas and go in front of several thousand people. So I got like more technology happening here right now than you can imagine. And I have no idea if this is going to work. What I really need you to do is I need you to fire in any questions. And I'm going to see if it shows up in the Q&A. But we're going to start out with, where are we here? We want to get to the proper thing and see if we can. We're going to start out with today's weather report. It's winter and we're going to have an awesome storm coming in next week. I've joked to my wife, if things don't work out, I can always get into the weather business. But what I'm trying to do is several things here. I'm working to try to figure out, just let me get past these screens, a fun little story. I'm working to try to figure out how to schedule events online through all of the software that I'm using. It's got the capability to go live instantaneously, which I'm doing right now, to LinkedIn, to YouTube, to Facebook, to Twitter. And you can schedule these events. And I haven't done a lot of that because, this virtual thing is like peeling back the layers of an onion and just trying to figure out everything that goes on with it. There's also a feature to bring questions in from Facebook and Twitter and LinkedIn. So if you post something in the comments, theoretically, I should see it show up here, which is actually coming into a computer over there, and then I can click on it and it can appear on the screen. So if we try a test here, just to see if this works, put in a comment and that might hopefully appear in my comments bar. Working with a really small screen here. Anyways, this is my virtual desk, and we're flying by the seat of our pants here to see if this is actually going to go. What's really going on here is, look, I mean, I had this wonderful career out on stage, getting into Las Vegas events, and 25 years of going out there. And I mean, obviously with COVID, that's gone for quite some time, and I'm really not quite ready to be a weather reporter, even though I could do it with this setup. So what we are in right now is a massively virtual studio with a lot of very sophisticated technology. And I don't know if my comments are working at all because I'm not seeing absolutely any come in. I'm actually having a huge amount of fun doing this. Going way back to my high school years, I was actually the general manager for our high school radio station. If you've ever seen the movie Dazed and Confused, that was my upbringing. And I wasn't a jock. I wasn't into sports. I got crazy good marks. I was younger than everybody else because I guess I was a little weird. And my thing was I ran the high school radio station. And one of my favorite memories was when the jocks were down in the jock room and, they were listening to disco and I just got Led Zeppelin physical graffiti and I decided they needed 2 solid hours of Led Zeppelin. So, there's me in the olden days, long hair and all, and here I am today. But I mean, I've always had a lot of interest in audiovisual and tech. I've been online since 1982. So as the world has gone virtual, it's kind of a natural thing to make this move to go in and do these awesome things with virtual stage sets and really begin to experiment with what I can do to try to go out to the world. I think we're in this space for quite some time to come. If you've been watching me, I'm saying that over and over and over again. Let's try a test here and see if the comments come in via this. I'm not quite sure that it's working here. So I'm focused on trying to make this work. And so yesterday, my wife and I were down here and I said, I really want to try and do this virtual desk thing. So we took a table and we stuck a green sheet on it, and I got a nice stage set, city view behind me, and I grabbed a virtual desk. I tried this a few weeks ago, and boom, here we are. It actually is not looking too bad. Now, I've had a bunch of folks in the community of the software I'm using, which is known as Ecamm, giving me suggestions on lights and what I need to do to make it look a little bit more natural. And there's some weird things. For example, if I move this, you can see that the computer begins to fade, but it's getting there. And part of this whole virtual adventure is the process of interacting with people through Q&A. And so that's what I've been doing in a lot of my virtual presentations. I've actually had a few, and I've got some coming up in December and January. You've got to build in a lot of sections of interactive discussion with your clients, because this is obviously a very different space. Now, let me give you a little bit of a tour of what's going on behind the scenes here. This is it. When you see this desk here, what you're actually looking at is this green wall. And what we have happening here is straight out there, there's a Canon M200 camera. It's plugged into the computer over here, which is sort of over on the other side of the studio. If I hit the upper shot, you can see where I am, and you can see where all that massive infrastructure is. So it's feeding the image, the green image, into that computer in the middle, which you can see there. And through a lot of magic, it takes this and turns it into this. And that's the beauty of what is happening here. What we are witnessing is the acceleration of a lot of fascinating technology, which helps us to do things that we never really could do before. I'll give you a little bit more of an insight. Here's a bit of a side shot. So this is another camera angle. This is another Canon M200 DSLR camera. And you can see the desk here. This is simply a table with a piece of plywood on it with some green fabric on top of a green floor with all kinds of green walls. And again, it goes from that to this. If I had that set up for a second camera angle on the desk, which I haven't quite done. And the cool thing is I can swap in this screen over on the left with a drop-down computer monitor and stick some video in there, and I can drop one in over to the right. Part of the challenge here is getting all your directions correct. You can see that you can begin to layer in these capabilities to add all kinds of special effects, video, context-sensitive stuff. And that's what I've been doing in my online keynotes, dragging in video relevant to the topic that I'm talking about. So I'm talking about agriculture, the future of farming. I drag in videos which are related to the topic at hand. I can drag in some text as well. I've really committed to this virtual thing because I think the vaccine, it's going to take a long time to roll out. You'll notice I did a video just a couple of weeks ago on the complexity that's going to come with trying to bring our world back to normal. I think in the conference space, it's going to be a long time before anybody is ready to go back to a world where they're hopping on a plane and heading off to Las Vegas. I'm pretty certain at this point my comments and questions are not coming into this, which is why we try and go live to see if we can get these things to work. I'll try a test there and see if that shows up. Really committed to virtual. So if you look at my website, you'll notice there's a lot of focus on virtual. I've skewed the images towards virtual. I've focused on what I'm doing in the green screen office and really, building out the capabilities for people to understand what I'm doing. So I'll take you through a couple of screenshots of what is happening. This is a long angle, wide angle lens that, looks down. It's hanging on some rigging up there, and you can see sort of the whole perspective. Now, it's not a great camera. I don't use this for a lot of work, but it's just to give people a little bit of insight into what is going on. And there's a bit of a side shot of the main production desk. The overhead shot, which what I've done here is I've simply have gone and taken and hung up my iPhone from the ceiling to give people a little bit of an insight into what is going on behind the scenes. We're definitely not getting the Q&A working correctly because a couple of questions have come in and they are not hitting at all. So this is why we do a test, simply to see if we can get things working correctly. So, part of this whole process of going live is figuring out the postmortem, what has gone wrong and what we need to do next time around. I've never scheduled an event like this and have never used it to set up the Q&A. So with that in mind, what do we want to do here? Put in perspective what is possible in terms of flipping through these different camera scenes. So what I've actually got here is a little iPad next to me, which has a whole bunch of scenes set up. It's something called Stream Deck, which lets me float through the various scenes that have been created for this particular show. And what I'm about to do is I'm going to head back over to the main production machine. You can see me wander in there and set up a different stage set. See if I can figure out what's going on with the comments, which is, oh, look at that. Comments and reactions not available when using a stream key. So it turns out what I was actually trying to do is not possible to do at all. So again, this is why we go live. Look at that. I left the laptop back on the green desk. So if I take that, put that away, that disappears, no more laptop, and away we go. So again, a little bit of a test to see if I could get things working. I didn't read the manual, RTFM, and we'll have to go back and try that. And